Chelsea fans, the special one already saw this coming. Listen up, Blues. Before Xabi Alonso ever kicked a ball as a manager at the very top level, one man had already spotted greatness in him. Not just any man, Jose Mourinho, the special one himself. The last manager to bring us a Premier League title before Antonio Conte, a Chelsea legend whose name is still sung inside Stamford Bridge to this day. Years before Alonso ever pulled on a Chelsea tracksuit, Mourinho was already talking about him as a future top manager. He looked at Alonso's football brain, his playing career, the coaches he learned from, and he gave his honest verdict. He said Alonso had everything needed to become a very good coach. That is not a small compliment coming from a man who has won league titles in 4 different countries. That is Jose Mourinho, one of the greatest managers the game has ever seen, telling the world that Xabi Alonso was going to be special. So when Chelsea's interest in Alonso finally turned into an actual appointment this year, plenty of people pointed straight back to those Mourinho words. It felt like the special one had already given his seal of approval long before Chelsea even made their move. Now ask yourself this. If Jose Mourinho, the man who built one of the most fearsome Chelsea sides in our history, already saw the making of a serious manager in Xabi Alonso, why should Chelsea fans doubt him now that he is actually here, on our bench, with our badge on his chest? Grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let us go through this together. By the end of this piece, you will understand why Chelsea have every right to believe this is the season we finally challenge for the Premier League title again, from 10th place to title talk. Let us start with where we are coming from. Last season was hard to watch if you love this club. Chelsea finished 10th in the Premier League. 10th. For a club with our history, that is simply not good enough, and every single fan in the stands knew it. The season was chaos from start to finish. There were changes at the top. There was disruption in January when the club had to part ways with its head coach after his heart clearly was not in it anymore. Chelsea even had to release a statement explaining what happened, admitting that the club felt let down by a manager whose focus had drifted elsewhere. It was messy. It was painful. And it left Chelsea searching for stability once again. Out of that mess came one big decision. The club turned to Xabi Alonso, the man Jose Mourinho had already marked out as a future top-level coach. Here is a question for you. When was the last time Chelsea made an appointment that came with the backing of a club legend before he even walked through the door? That is exactly the position Chelsea find themselves in with Alonso. The Mourinho connection that runs deeper than you think. Let us talk about why this Mourinho link means so much to Chelsea fans specifically. Mourinho is not just some outside voice giving his opinion. He is the man who introduced himself to English football as the special one, and then went out and won us our first Premier League title in 50 years. He won it again the following season. He added an FA Cup and League Cups along the way. He built a Chelsea identity built on steel, belief, and ruthless winning. For an entire generation of Chelsea fans, Mourinho is the standard every manager since has been measured against. So when a manager with that kind of history and that kind of eye for talent had already flagged Alonso as a future top coach, it carries weight that no ordinary pundit comment ever could. This is not a random YouTube analyst guessing. This is a man who has managed at Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Roma, and who has won the Champions League with 2 different clubs. When Mourinho sees something special in a young coach, football tends to sit up and listen. And Alonso has since gone out and backed up that early praise. He took Bayer Leverkusen and delivered something that had never happened before in that club's history. He won them their first ever Bundesliga title, and he did it without losing a single domestic match all season. An entire league campaign, unbeaten. That is not luck. That is exactly the kind of manager Mourinho saw coming years earlier. Why Xabi Alonso is the right man for this job. Chelsea have given Alonso a 4-year contract. That alone tells you something. This is not a short-term fix. This is a long-term plan. The club wants him to build something that lasts, not just patch up the damage from last season. Alonso's spell at Real Madrid did not work out the way he wanted, and life at a giant club like that can be brutal for any coach, no matter how talented. The pressure and demands at a club like Real Madrid are on another level compared to almost anywhere else in the game. A difficult spell there does not erase what he built in Germany, and it certainly does not erase what a manager like Mourinho already recognized in him. Ask yourself this. How many managers arrive at Chelsea these days with a genuine trophy already on their record, and with the public backing of one of our own club legends? Not many. That is exactly why there is real hope in this appointment. The style Alonso wants to bring Alonso is known for a high-energy, aggressive style of play. At Leverkusen, he set his team up to press hard, win the ball back quickly, and attack with pace and purpose. He likes a back 3 or a back 4 that can shift shape depending on the moment, giving his teams flexibility that confuses opponents. For Chelsea, this means a shift away from some of the slower, more passive football we saw at times last season. Alonso wants intensity. He wants his players sprinting, pressing, and fighting for every ball. He wants a team that looks hungry, not a team that looks like it is just going through the motions. Will it take time for the players to fully understand what he wants? Almost certainly yes. New ideas do not click overnight, especially in a league as fast and physical as the Premier League. But the early signs from preseason training have shown a squad working hard on fitness, sharpness, and quick decision-making, exactly the foundations Alonso needs before his full plan can come together. The blessing in disguise. Nobody expected here is something that might surprise you, but it could be one of the biggest reasons Chelsea can compete this season. Chelsea have no European football this year. Now, normally, missing out on European competition is seen as a disaster for a big club. It hurts prestige. It hurts the wallet. But this season, it might actually be the secret weapon that helps Chelsea catch up to the teams above them. Think about what this means in practical terms. While Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, and other rivals are juggling midweek matches across Europe on top of their league games, Chelsea get to focus everything on the Premier League and the domestic cups. More rest for the players, more time on the training pitch for Alonso to drill his ideas into the squad, fewer injuries from a packed fixture list. Does this guarantee success? Of course not. But ask yourself honestly, would you rather have a fresh, well-rested squad training hard every week under a manager trying new ideas, or a tired squad flying across the continent every few days with barely any time to work on the basics? There is already a real example of this working in the Premier League. Manchester United used exactly this kind of situation to their advantage in the second half of last season when they were without European football, and it helped turn their campaign around. Chelsea have the depth in their squad to try something similar, and Alonso has the extra hours on the training pitch to make it count. The history that gives Chelsea fans real hope. Now here comes the part that should give every Chelsea fan goosebumps. 10 years ago, Chelsea finished 10th in the Premier League. The season after that, Chelsea won the league title. That happened under Antonio Conte in the famous 2016-17 season, and it remains Chelsea's most recent Premier League crown. Read that again. 10th place one season. Champions the very next season. Is it a guarantee that history repeats itself? No, football does not work that way. But it proves something important. It proves that a poor league position does not always reflect the true quality sitting inside a squad. Sometimes all it takes is the right manager arriving with the right plan, and suddenly everything clicks into place. Chelsea's current squad has serious talent running through it. The pieces from last season were often good enough to create chances at a level close to the Champions League. The issue was never a total lack of quality. The issue was inconsistency, structure, and confidence. Those are exactly the kind of problems a strong, organized manager like Alonso, already trusted by a mind like Mourinho, is built to fix. So here is a question worth sitting with. If Conte could take a 10th place Chelsea side to the title, why should we assume Alonso cannot do something similar with a squad that many believe has even more raw attacking talent? The stars ready to lead the line. Every title challenge needs match winners, and Chelsea have two very important ones already in the building. Cole Palmer remains the heartbeat of this Chelsea side. Even in a season disrupted by injuries, he still managed to contribute goals and moments of pure quality that reminded everyone why he is one of the most exciting talents in the league. A fully fit Cole Palmer, playing with confidence under a manager who believes in him, is a nightmare for any Premier League defense. Then there is João Pedro. What a season he had. The Brazilian forward scored around 20 goals in his debut campaign for the club, showing sharp finishing, strong hold-up play, and the kind of hunger that fans fall in love with. He was named Chelsea's Player of the Season, and rightly so. Chelsea have not had a genuine focal point striker with this kind of impact since the Didier Drogba days, and that comparison alone tells you how special João Pedro's arrival has been for this club. Now picture this. Both Palmer and João Pedro missed out on their country's World Cup squads. That could have been a moment of disappointment for both players. Instead, it gave them a clear point to prove heading into this Premier League season, arriving for preseason fresh, fit, and hungry to show the world what they can do at club level. Add in the fresh legs and creativity of new signing Morgan Rogers, who arrived in a British transfer record deal and has already spoken about his excitement to link up again with Cole Palmer, and Chelsea suddenly have an attacking trio that can trouble any defense in England. Ask yourself, how many teams in this league can boast that kind of attacking talent walking out for them every single week? The signings that show. Real ambition. This summer has not just been about appointing Alonso. It has been about backing him properly, and that matters more than fans sometimes realize. Morgan Rogers arrived from Aston Villa in a deal that broke British transfer records, a clear signal that Chelsea are serious about competing at the very top this season. Maxence Lacroix joined from Crystal Palace to add strength and experience to the backline. Experienced heads like Jordan Henderson have also arrived to bring leadership and know-how to a squad that has, at times, looked short on game management in tight matches. This is different from previous windows where Chelsea seemed to sign for the sake of signing, filling the squad with promising but raw young players. This summer has been more targeted, more focused on players who can make an immediate difference. That is exactly the kind of transfer business a manager needs behind him if he is going to be judged fairly in his first season. Being honest about the concerns now, as much as we want to get carried away with excitement, let us be fair and look at this with clear eyes, because that is what proper analysis should do. There are real question marks over this Chelsea squad, and pretending otherwise would not be doing you justice as a fan who deserves the full picture. The defense is the biggest concern. Chelsea conceded goals far too easily last season, and while Maxence Lacroix adds quality, there are still doubts about whether the backline is settled enough to handle the physical, relentless nature of a full Premier League title race. Games against the top sides expose weaknesses quickly, and Chelsea cannot afford to keep giving away soft goals if they want to be taken seriously as challengers. The goalkeeper position has also been a talking point all summer. Chelsea have chosen not to bring in a new experienced number one, instead placing faith in Robert Sanchez, Mike Penders, and the club's other options between the sticks. Some respected voices in the game have openly questioned whether this is a strong enough plan at this level. Time will tell whether that faith is rewarded or whether it becomes a costly gamble. Then there is the adaptation period. Alonso's ideas are demanding. His pressing structure and tactical demands take time to learn properly, and Chelsea do not have the luxury of a slow start if they want to stay in touch with the teams at the top of the table. Early results will matter a lot in shaping the mood around the club, fair or not. And finally, there is the simple truth of Premier League competition. Arsenal have been building a strong, settled squad for several seasons now. Manchester City remain one of the most ruthless machines English football has ever seen. Liverpool continue to be a genuine threat every year. Beating sides like this over a full 38-game season requires more than good intentions. It requires consistency, week after week, month after month. So here is a fair question for you as a fan. Are you excited about the potential, while also staying realistic about the challenges ahead? Because both things can be true at the same time. What the football world is saying about Chelsea, it is not just Mourinho and Chelsea fans who see something building at Stamford Bridge. Journalists and pundits across the football world have been sharing their predictions for this season, and the picture is interesting. Many respected voices see Chelsea as a genuine dark horse for a top-4 finish, pointing to the calmer squad, the extra rest from no European football, and the attacking talent already available. Others have gone further, naming Chelsea as the team most likely to push Arsenal the hardest this season, ahead of even Manchester City and Liverpool in that particular conversation. A smaller but bold group of journalists have gone all the way, backing Chelsea outright to win the Premier League title this season, pointing to the same 10th to first pattern that Antonio Conte delivered a decade ago. Betting markets currently list Chelsea behind the traditional big favorites for the title, but ahead of several sides who many expected to be closer to the top of the table. That tells its own story. The wider football world does not see Chelsea as pretenders this season. They see a club capable of surprising people, even if the outright title feels like a stretch for many neutral observers. Is that not exactly the position Chelsea fans should want to be in? Not the arrogant favorites everyone is gunning for, but the dangerous outsider that nobody quite wants to play against, arriving with the backing of a special one who spotted this coming years ago. Setting our sights on Arsenal. Let us talk about the team standing at the very top of English football right now. Arsenal. There is no point pretending Arsenal are not a serious side. They have built carefully over several seasons, added quality in the right areas, and developed a level of consistency that has made them genuine title contenders year after year. Respect where respect is due. But here is the thing about football. Being the best on paper does not always translate to being the best on the pitch every single week. Pressure changes things. Expectation changes things. Arsenal will feel every bit of pressure that comes with being the team everyone expects to win, and pressure like that can crack even the strongest-looking sides if challengers keep applying it. Chelsea, on the other hand, come into this season with something different. Low pressure from outside expectations, but high hunger from inside the dressing room. Nobody is picking us as favorites, and honestly, that can be a dangerous position for opponents to underestimate. Add in a manager who a club legend like Mourinho already trusted to succeed, and Chelsea look like a side-building belief from the inside out. When these two sides eventually meet this season, do not expect Chelsea to turn up as nervous underdogs. Expect a team playing with freedom, playing with belief, and playing with a manager on the touchline who has already proven he knows exactly how to win a title race when everyone else doubted him. Picture the scene already. Stamford Bridge roaring, Cole Palmer running at defenders with that fearless confidence, João Pedro sniffing around the box waiting for a half chance, Morgan Rogers driving forward with fresh legs, Alonso pacing the touchline, calm, calculated, in total control, carrying the same winning spirit that Mourinho once brought to that very same technical area. That is the kind of afternoon that can shift the entire mood of a title race. What this season really means for Chelsea. Step back for a moment and think about the bigger picture here. This season is not just about league position. It is about identity. It is about Chelsea rediscovering who they are after years of confusion under this ownership, the constant managerial changes, the disjointed transfer strategy in previous windows, the feeling that the club had lost its way compared to the glory days many fans still remember fondly, glory days that Mourinho himself helped write into our history books. Xabi Alonso represents a chance to reset that story, arriving with the rare stamp of approval from one of our own legends. A 4-year contract shows genuine commitment from both sides. A summer of targeted signings shows genuine intent. A fresh tactical approach shows genuine ambition. All the ingredients are there. Now it is about putting them together on the pitch, week after week, result after result. Chelsea fans have every right to feel a mixture of excitement and nerves right now. We have been let down before. We have seen bright starts fade into disappointment. But there is something about this specific moment that feels different, and it is not just blind hope talking. It is the manager with proven title-winning pedigree. It is the manager a Chelsea great already believed in before the rest of the world caught on. It is the attacking talent already sitting in the squad. It is the fresh legs from no European distractions. It is the history of bouncing back strongly from difficult league positions. All of these things stacking together at once is rare, and Chelsea fans should recognize just how rare a moment like this actually is. Drop your predictions below. Where do you think Chelsea finished this season? Are we talking top 4, or are you brave enough to say title contenders? Let us hear it, Chelsea family. Up the Blues.